cake, when you make a cake and you put that little cherry, that glazed cherry on top of the cake, right? It's worth all of the cake and more. Because it's that cherry on top of the cake that makes the cake look magnificent. Take away the cherry, cake. Yeah, okay, cake. But add the cherry on top. British Airways, I remember watching a documentary. They, in their for their passengers who fly first class, whenever they make their dishes, they take a lot of effort and put a lot of detail into how it looks. And sometimes just taking away one cherry can save themselves many millions of pounds. They did some research, and I remember reading about it. But they won't do it because that cherry is very important. It's only a cherry, but it's very important. That glazed cherry doesn't taste all that great, but still, adding that extra little bit more, it's called gold plating. Putting that just a little bit more makes a whole lot of a difference. And I'll explain to you why that is. There's actually a principle behind this. It's not just because, there's principle behind this. The principle is this. I'll give you an example, right? Let's say you hire a mason to do some work. You hire a bricklayer to lay some bricks and build a wall for you. You ask the guy to work from a day's worth of work, so from 9 to 5 is a day's work for him. And let's say you pay him 1,000 rupees, okay, just for argument's sake, 1,000 rupees. So when you pay this guy 1,000 rupees and he comes into the office, or he comes into this site, the construction site, at 9 o'clock and he leaves at 5 o'clock. When he works, he's, of course, this is labor, okay, and through labor and you paying money, this is a transaction that's happening, right? This is a transaction. So this transaction involves him giving you labor and you giving him money. So at the end of this day, now that transaction has been reconciled. If you pay him at the end of the day, the transaction has been reconciled. So it's not arrears, not in red. It's just, he's given you and you've given him back. So balance. The universe is balanced again. But you and I, we all know that in this long journey in samsara, we have always been indebted to others. This is why even before the beginning of a sermon, we invite those beings who we have come across in samsara to offer them an opportunity to listen to the Dhamma and rejoice in the merits. And by doing that, we are able to allow them the opportunity to, or rather we offer ourselves the opportunity to repay debts that we owe them. Now this bricklayer who's come to the construction site and he's working with me and I'm paying him money, obviously I've got transactions with him that we need to reconcile. Sansaric transactions. Sasara Ganudenu, that we need to reconcile. Right now he's laying bricks and I've paid him some money, transaction reconciled. However, there are lots of other transactions that are yet to be reconciled, sansaric transactions. If this bricklayer, instead of coming at 9 and leaving at 5, if he came in at 8:45, 15 minutes extra, it may be that I only pay him 1,000 rupees, but the impression that he gives me is that he really wants to do this. He's quite eager and he wants to give me his service. That is why he's coming 15 minutes before he need to be there. That 15 minutes to me is worth more than the entire day, or maybe an hour or two of his time he spent there laying bricks. That 15 minutes, the impression it has, the effect it has on me is immense. As a result of that, it brings me a lot of pleasure and joy. It brings me a lot of joy. When I have joy, when I sense joy in my heart, he's given me what? Not just the wall, he's given me happiness. He's given me happiness. Now what he's done is he's reconciled a debt, a sansaric debt, by giving me an opportunity to rejoice and experience happiness in my heart. See, he's now reconciled a debt. Not just the laying bricks and the 1,000 rupees, but he's given me joy because I would have given him joy at some point in samsara. That debt has now also been reconciled. We also have a habit, don't we, that whenever we pay someone some money for some work, we always give them a tip. Materialistic people, they think, why do you do that? You don't need to give extra. If it's 25 rupees and 30 cents, don't give 31, 30. Don't round it up or don't round it down, just give it exactly the right figure. Okay, so materialistic people, they don't like to tip. They like to keep it very, clear cut. But there's actually a lot of sense and there's a lot of science in giving someone tip. Because what happens when you do that is, again, sansaric debts. It may be that you only need to pay this man 1,000 rupees. If you pay him maybe 100 rupees more or 50 rupees more, now you bring that person joy in their hearts. Because now you're actually giving them something additional to what they expected. And through that they experience joy. That is reconciling a sansaric transaction that was to be reconciled. You've paid them the money for laying the bricks, but you've also given them a little bit more to reconcile a sansaric transaction. There are a lot of benefits to this. Let's say you as a worker, you go into the office, or if you are, say for example, the bricklayer, and you're always there 15 minutes before work starts. Work starts at 9, you're there by quarter to 9. The impression you leave on me is that you are a very good worker, you're a very good employee. So now what I'm going to do is, if ever I hear someone wanting someone for work, who do you think I'm going to recommend? Yeah. Because I'm going to recommend the person who left a good impression with me. There might be another bricklayer who comes in right at 9 o'clock and leaves at 5. Okay, he also is good at laying his bricks. But the person who came in 15 minutes earlier, has left a really positive impression with me. He's the guy who I'll want to recommend to somebody else. Now, you shouldn't do this for the purpose of recommendation. That's not why you should do this. You should do this because it's a sansaric debt that we have an opportunity to reconcile. When you always give just a little bit more than what you are expected to give. Just a little bit more. It's called gold plating. You give a little bit more than you're expected to. So at the workplace, one of my mentors taught me, if you need to be in the office by 9 o'clock, be there at 7:30, but leave at 5. Don't stay after 5. Because here's the thing, if you stay at work after 5, it shows that you are disorganized. If you come early, then it shows that you are really wanting to do the job. Same thing, but it's a different impression. Come in early shows that you're really keen. Leave late shows that you're disorganized, because you can't manage your time properly to be able to leave work on time. So at the workplace, right, everyone that you come across are people that we have had samsaric transactions and debts with. So at the workplace, if you can't go in half an hour early, 15 minutes, 10 minutes early, that makes a whole of a difference. It leaves a really positive impression on everybody. Least of all your managers, but the other people that are with you, your co-workers, it leaves a really positive impression. And you are reconciling sansaric debts, because when you do that and you leave, you put a smile on somebody's face. You can't buy a smile with money. You can't buy a smile with money. A smile can only be bought through your actions and through your words. Putting a smile on someone's face allows you to reconcile a sansaric debt. So simple. So doing something good to somebody, giving someone a glass of water, allows you to reconcile a sansaric debt. And the more debts that you reconcile, the easier your path to Nibbana is going to be. That's why doing that little bit extra, every opportunity you find, is always a good thing to do. Always a good thing to do. Habits that you can get into, folks. And also these are great habits to get into. If, for example, you borrow someone's car, right? I don't think I need to teach you to suck eggs here, but if you borrow someone's car, then of course what you do, you wash it, you put in a full tank of petrol, and that's how you give it back. But not everyone does that. Some people leave it in a worse state than they found it. Never be that person. Never be that person. I'm talking about this because there is a connection to Nibbana here. This is not just how to live a good life in your worldly existence. There's a connection here to Nibbana. Because when you leave a positive impression on somebody, they'll always bless you. They may not say it out loud, but their blessings will always be with you. If you give joy to someone, folks, you will receive that joy in return. And that joy you cannot buy with any amount of money. You can't buy that with money. It can only be achieved through your actions and through your words. Some people, really simple example, you might scratch your heads wondering, why do people do like this? Some hotel rooms, when people go and spend the nights in a hotel, they leave the room like a war zone. Bedding on the floor, TV switched on, cups and saucers and toilets and all in a mess. If you ask them why they do that, well, it was there for me to enjoy. And it doesn't say I have to clean it. That's what the workers are there for, so they can clean it. The right mindset or wrong mindset? Entirely wrong mindset. Because when the cleaner, the janitor walks into the room, how is he or she going to feel when they see you having done that? Positive? No. They're going to feel very dejected. They're going to walk into the room disgusted with the way that you have left the room. And at that moment, the thoughts that come into their mind, that's not a blessing, it's a curse. That curse can put an impediment on your path in Nibbana. Because that's a negative energy. That they don't necessarily curse you. It's not something that they would do intentionally. But even the words or thoughts like, who the hell stayed in this room? Look at the state that they left this in. How could they? Are they like animals? Even such words, words have a lot of energy. They have a lot of power. Right? And such words can have a terrible impact. However little it may be, added up, it can have a big impact on your journey. But what if the janitor walks into the room and realizes, I haven't got anything to do here. Did anyone actually stay in this room? Make that a habit. Always leave something better than how you found it. That's a really good principle to have in your lives. Always leave something or somewhere better than you found it. Something my mentor taught me. Even if it's a hire car, leave it better than you found it. Leave it better than you found it, always. If you come into the monastery, of course you come into the monastery. As you come into the monastery, folks, if you see perhaps maybe a toffee cover thrown on the floor, or maybe the lid of a bottle somewhere, put it in the bin. You've left this monastery better than you found it. If when you walk into the washroom, you realize that the tap is open, but you use the toilet, you don't need to use the tap, whatever, close the tap. Nothing to do with you, but you've left it better than you found it. Always leave something better than you found it. And the reason for that is when someone sees that, the impression that you give them is a joyful one. They're going to look at that and go, wow, what kind of, this is, people like gods must be inhabiting this place. And that is a huge blessing on your part. That blessing can really help you travel this journey to samsara without impediments. It can be a catalyst on your journey in samsara. Sorry, not in samsara, but now in terms of your nibbana. Because those blessings are quite powerful. Always leave your workplace, including the workplace. If you go into a workplace, I used to have a habit of this. At the workplace where we used to have, our toilets in the office, if ever I walked in there and I saw some toilet papers on the floor, I would never leave it like that. Yes, somebody else put it on the floor. So, what's the deal? I don't have to pick it up with my own hands. Take another toilet paper and lift it up, put it back in, flush the toilet, walk away. Because how did I find it? In a mess. Why should the other person coming after me find it in the same state? Then what contribution have I had on making the world a better place? What contribution have I had? Sometimes if you actually walk into the toilet and sometimes if it hasn't been flushed properly, sometimes you'll find this. You haven't used it, you only need to use the sink, but the toilet hasn't been flushed properly. So you're now using those facilities, right? Take the toilet brush, Clean it, flush it, now walk away. Because the next person that comes into there will be thinking to themselves, wow, clean. They may not even actually think about the last person who used it, but at least, it leaves a positive impression on them. Just to find something in a good state of repair, in a good state of use, leaves a positive impression on someone. And bringing that joy into someone's mind, that has a really powerful impact on you, because again, you can go sadhu sadhu in your mind. That is merit. That's again merit. Don't you think, if you going into your workplace, cleaning the toilet and pressing the flush button and walking out, don't you think that's a meritorious deed? It's a hugely meritorious deed. Because the next person that comes in there is going to have a positive impression, not a negative impression. When you walk into the kitchen, usually if it's your home, then I don't need to talk to you about it because it's your duty. But if you go into the kitchen of your workplace, and there's a dish that hasn't been washed, feel free. You don't have to do all the dishes. If there's a cup that's you've come to wash your cup, you've just had your tea and you've come to wash your mug. There's one left here. Someone's left it there. So what can you do? Wash it. One, it'll help you with your humility. Everyone's watching. Don't do it to become an ad. Everyone's watching, I should do it now. Because everyone's going to think that I'm such a humble person. Now that's a dog barking. Don't let the dog bark. If that's how you feel, then best not do it. Just leave it. When no one's watching, that's the best time to do it. A good way to find out if you have a lot of ego. Do you feel like you like to do things when people are watching? I like to do good things when people are watching. If no one's watching, then don't feel like doing it. If you want to lift there's litter on the floor, you want to lift it up, but before you lift it, you look, is anyone watching me? Oh yeah, someone's there. Hey! Why? Because you want credit. Again, this is ego. So don't do things when people are watching you. Or don't do things so that you can get credit from others. Don't worry, Tata is giving you credit. You don't need other people to watch you to give you credit. Tata is giving you plenty of credit. Because your merit is not in the deed you're doing. It's not in the action. It's in the mindset that you have. And don't defile that meritorious mindset through ego. Because that reduces the potency of that merit. When ego creeps in, it reduces the potency of that merit. Give me an answer to this question. Someone sweeps this room, okay? There's a Prutagjana, a Sotapanna, a Sakrudagami, Anagami, and an Arahatun Vahanse. These 5 people sweeping this room. In order of how much merit is earned, how would you line them up? How would you line them up? Who earns the most amount of merit? Not the Arahatun Vahanse? Why not? Yes, it's the Anagami person. Then the Sakrudagami person. Then the Sotapanna person. Then the Prutagjana. And finally, the Arahatun Vahanse. Why? Because an Arahant earns no merit. Because merits cannot be earned by an Arahatun Vahanse because he has no vexation to be relieved from. And also that shows you that merits are for the purpose of Nibbana. Because once you've attained Nibbana, you can't do merit after that. It's like a spare wheel, right? Like a spare wheel of a car, you only need a spare wheel if your wheels can be punctured. If you have punctureless wheels, why do you need a spare wheel? You don't need a spare wheel. Similarly, once you have attained Arahathood, you can't do merit. Even if you tried. Does that not tell you what merits are for? That tells you that merits are for the purpose of attaining Arahathood. Because once you've attained it, now you can no longer do merit, even if you wanted to. Not that you would want to, but you can't do merits. But in the order of earning merit, the Anagami person would earn the most amount of merit. Then the Sakrudagami person, then the Sotapanna person, and so on. And the reason for that is, the merit is not in the action, the merit is in the mindset. The mindset of an Anagami person has less ego than that of a Sakrudagami person, and a Sakrudagami person has less ego than that of a Sotapanna person. Don't allow ego to defile your merit. Don't allow lobha or desire to defile your merit. Don't allow aversion or dvesha to defile your merit. Now sometimes, I remember when I was younger, when my dad he did some teaching at some point, and so as a teacher, it was his principle never to sit down. He always wanted to be stood up in the classroom, but when he got back home from work, he'd always complain about muscle pains in his legs, and so he got me to massage his legs and to relieve him of that pain. I must admit there were some days where I thought, again today, because I had homework or for whatever reason. So I did the deed, which was giving him a massage, but today I realized that I didn't earn that much merit, because as doing that, I was not feeling meritorious. I was not feeling that generous. I did it because I had to do it. I couldn't say no to him. But had you asked me to do it today, I would be doing the exact same thing, but with a different mindset. Because merit is in the mind. It's in your mindset, not in the action. Which also means then that whenever you see someone doing a meritorious deed, make sure that you applaud it in your mind. Sadhu, sadhu are very powerful words. Someone came and asked me the other day, what does that mean? Sadhu is a way to applaud, like clapping, but mentally. It has a more profound meaning. It also has to do with the meaning of eradicating the self. That also means sadhu. So, let's not go there. Okay? It has the meaning of eradicating the self. Because that is what we want to get done ultimately. Eradicating the self. But any opportunity you witness to earn merit, then engage in that. However small or large it may be. Because we all need merit. We need tremendous amounts of merit. And here's what. You of all people need merit than everybody else. Reason for that? To be here right now, you have already spent a lot of merit. Because merit is like currency. It's like money. What you have spent, you don't have. What you have spent is gone. So now you need to earn again. It's like money. So to have been born a human, you have spent a lot of merit. To have been born into the Jambudvipa, you have spent a lot of merit. To have been born in the time of the Buddha's dispensation, you have spent a lot of merit. To have come across Nibbana-centric Dhamma, you have spent a lot of merit. To be here right now, you have spent a lot of merit. So you are spending merit like merit is going out of fashion. Like nobody's business, you are spending merit. Which means then, you will run out of merit very soon. Because guess what? You are spending merit at a very rapid rate. Your best friend from school, who maybe today is the chief executive officer of a company, and he's just spending time, having a good time, driving his Ferrari around the block, sipping Bacardi, right? Whatever he may be doing, he's not spending merit at the same rate that you are. He's also spending merit. If he's spending merit at 500 units per hour, you're spending it at 1,000,000 units per hour right now. So you're going to be expiring your merit before your chief executive officer friend. So guess who needs more merit? You need. You need it because you're spending it much faster than anybody else. What does that tell me about myself? You know what? I need to do these sermons as much as you need them. So please keep coming. Why? Because I need merits. Because I am consuming my merits at such a rapid rate, I can't even keep count of it. To be in the presence of Guru Swami Nuanse, to be in this monastery, to have been ordained as a monk, I'm spending merits at a tremendous rate. I can't even keep track of it. So I need to earn as much merit as I possibly can. So I want you all to feel the same way. Earn as much merit as you possibly can. And do as much meritorious deeds as you possibly can. You know, when you come here, as you sweep the floor, as you clear out the desks, the chairs, as you offer the Gilampasa to the Swami Nuanses. You know, last time I checked, when you offer this tray of betel leaves as an invitation to the monk, to invite the monk to preach a sermon, if my facts are right, that event, that act, if you have the right mindset, is enough merit for you to be born as a Deva for 9 kalpas, for 9 eons. That, if you have the right mindset. All you've done is invited someone to preach a sermon. A sermon that is focused on anicca dukkha anatta. So then what about preaching the sermon? Haha. But you can all do that. You don't have to be in a robe. Sit down with a friend. Talk to him about the Dhamma. Talk to him about how you have changed. Share your story, your testimonial. If you change one life, you change it all. Because that one life will go and change another life. That will change another life. That will change another 2 lives. That will change another 4 lives. This is a pyramid. You don't realize, folks, how much potential you have. Human beings have ultimate potential. Unlimited potential. We human beings have. How do we know? Can you see who's behind me? Unlimited potential. That was a human being. Human beings have unlimited potential. Don't ever limit yourself to anything. Don't ever say, this is all I can do, I can't do any more than this. Wrong. You can do much more than that. Always. Don't ever limit yourself. Whether you're a man or woman, makes no difference. You all have unlimited potential. Unlimited. What's the limit to unlimited? No, it's unlimited. There's no limit to that. How good can you be? How good can you be? Unlimited. How kind can you be? Unlimited. How generous can you be? Unlimited. How helpful can you be to others? Unlimited. So reach for that unlimited potential. Why don't you try and become the kindest person there has ever lived? Okay, put aside the Buddhists and the Arhatun Vahanses to a side. How about that for a life ambition? Rather than saying, I want to be a doctor one day, how about you say, I want to be the kindest person that has ever lived in recent history. I want to be the most generous person that has ever lived. I want to be the most soft-spoken person that has ever lived. Never will I say a word that hurts another person's feelings. Certainly not intentionally. That's really, truly something to achieve for. Because your potential is unlimited. Also, how evil can you be? Again, unlimited. That's why, for good or bad, humans have a very unique capability. You can go unlimited either this way or the other way. For good or bad, you have unlimited potential. You got to pick and choose which way you want to go. The people you associate will send you down either path. If you are in the association of the Asat Purushas, then they will send you down the wrong path, or the path of unlimited evil. That's what happened with Devadatta. Unlimited evil. But one day he's going to become a Pacheka Buddha. What's going to happen is he's going to be in the association of good people. One day. It'll be time. It'll take a lot of time. You can also achieve unlimited goodness. How about you set yourself a goal? I want to become in this new year the best husband this world has ever seen. Or for as many husbands my wife has had in Sansara, I want to be the best husband my wife has ever had in all of Sansara. I want to be the